जय कुंज बिहारी जय
Madhava Jaya Kunja Bihari
जय राधा माधव जय कुंज बिहारी
Jaya Radha Madhava Jaya Kunja Bihari
जय गोपी जन वल्लभ जय गिरिवरधारी जय गिरिवरधारी
Jaya Gopi
गोपी जन
Vallabha Jaya
जय
Girivardhari
गिरिवरधारी जय यशोदानंदन जय ब्रजजनरञ्जन
Jaya Yashodanandana Jaya
जय
Brajajana Ranjana
जय यशोदानंदन जय ब्रजजनरञ्जन
Jaya Yashodanandana
जय
Jaya Brajajana Ranjana
जय यमुना तीरवनाचारी जय कुंज बिहारी
Jaya
यमुना
Jamunatiravanachari
तीरवनाचारी जय
Jaya
कुंज
Kunja Bihari
बिहारी जय राधा माधव जय कुंज बिहारी
Jaya Radha Madhava Ya Kunja Bihari
Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare
Hare Krishna Hare Krishna
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 Krishna Hare Hare
Hare
Hare
Rama
Rama Hare
Hare Rama
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 Rama Hare Hare
Jaya Prabhupada Jai Prabhupada Jai Prabhupada Jai Prabhupada
Jaya
Jai
Prabhupada Jaya Prabhupada
Prabhupada
Jaya
Jai Prabhupada
Prabhupada
Jai
Jaya
Prabhupada
Prabhupada
जय ओम विष्णुपाद परमहंस परिव्रजकाचार्य अष्टोत्तर शतश्री श्रीमान के सभे चरणारविंद भक्ति वेदांत स्वामी श्रील प्रभुपाद की
Jai
जय ओम विष्णुपाद परमहंस परिव्रजकाचार्य अष्टोत्तर शतश्री श्रीमान के श्रील भक्ति सिद्धांत सरस्वती गोस्वामी ठाकुर महाराज की जय
Jai
जय
वैष्णव वृंद की जय
Jai
जय
आचार्य श्रील प्रभुपाद की
Jai
जय
नामाचार्य श्री हरिदास ठाकुर की
Jai
जय श्री प्रभु श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासादि श्री गौर भक्त वृंद की
Jai
जय
श्री राधा शरद बिहारी की जय
Jai
जगन्नाथ सुभद्रा महाराज की जय
Jai
जय
श्री गौर निताय की जय
Jai
जय
अमृत गौर भक्त वृंद की जय
Jai
जय
हरे कृष्ण
Hare
thank you so
Krishna
much for allowing me to recite Srimad Bhagavatam this morning for my own purification. I can share if you want, or you can share. No problem. It's a short. You can share actually. If you
Yeah,
like.
I can share. That's fine. Sure. I have it ready to go.
Text 20.
Yeah.
Om Namah Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय
Om Namah Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
ॐ नमो
Namo
भगवते
Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
वासुदेवाय
Om Namah Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
So we are reading from Canto 10 of Srimad Bhagavatam, the Samam Varnam, chapter 8. Chapter 8 and title is Lord Krishna shows the universal form, and text 20. Sri Sukha Uvacha Ityatmanam Samadhisya Garge cha Swagruham Gate Nanda Pramodito Mene Atmanam Purnamasisam Sri Sukha Uvacha Ityatmanam Samadhisya Garge cha Swagruham Gate Nanda Pramodito Mene Atmanam Purnamasisam Sri Sukha Uvacha Ityatmanam Samadhisya Garge cha Swagruham Gate Nanda Pramodito Mene Atmanam Purnamasisam.
Shri Shuka Uvacha Iti Atmanam Samidishya Gargacha Svagriham Gate Nanda Pramudito Mane Atmanam Purnam Ashisham.
Shri Sukha Uvacha Ityatmanam Samadhisya Garge cha Sagraham Gate Nandaha Pramodito Mene Atmanam Purnam Ashisham.
Shri Shuka Uvacha Ityatmanam Samadhisya Garge cha Swagraham Gate Nanda Pramodito Mene Atmanam Purnamashisham.
Shri Shuka Uvacha Iti Atmanam Samadhisya Garge cha Swagraham Gate Nanda Pramudito Mene Atmanam Purnam Ashisham.
You're in mute, Dhanacharya Prabhu. It's only after Dhanacharya Prabhu will do that. Yes, sir.
Shri Sukha Uvacha Iti Atmanam Samadhisya Garge Swagruham Gate Nanda Pramudito Mene Atmanam Puran Ashisham.
So, word by word translation. Sri Sukha Uvacha. Sri Sukadeva Goswami said, Iti, thus, Atmanam, about the absolute truth, the Supreme Soul, Samadhisya, after fully instructing, Garge, when Gargamuni, Cha, also, Swagraham, to his own abode, Gate, had departed, Nandaha, Maharaj Nanda, Pramoditaha, became extremely pleased, Mene, considered, Atmanam, his own self, Purnam, Purnam Asisam, full of all good fortune. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace, Abhay Charan Arvind Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada ki jai. We have very short purport, so maybe it's opportunity for all of us to share something. I'll try my best what I can do. Translation. Srila Sukadeva Goswami continued. After Gargamuni, having instructed Nanda Maharaj about Krishna, departed for his own home, Nanda Maharaj was very pleased and considered himself full of all good fortune. Purport: Krishna is the super soul and Nanda Maharaj is the individual soul. By the instructions of Gargamuni, both of them were blessed. This is the piece I will request all of you to share also. Nanda Maharaj was thinking of Krishna's safety from the hands of demons like Putana and Sakatasura. And because he possessed such a son, he thought of himself as most fortunate. I would like to seek blessings from all the assembled Vaishnavas. We have a Kaivalya Prabhu, Prabhupada's disciple, Dhananjay Prabhu, and all others for allowing me this moment to meditate. Om Ajnanatimirandhasya Jnananjana Salakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tashmai Sri Gurave Namaha. Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Prishtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Niti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirbhisesa Sunyavadi Paschyata Desa Tarine Jai Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Rama Rama Hare Hare. Thank you. So here it appears like Garga Muni, who is a great devotee as well, and Nanda Maharaj is also a great devotee. By the instructions of Garga Muni, Nanda Maharaj was thinking of Krishna's safety from the hands of demons like Putana and Saktasura. And because he possessed such a son, he thought of himself as most fortunate. As Krishna has appeared, already Krishna has appeared. And Krishna is all auspiciousness, and he is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Then how Nanda Maharaj is still further thinking himself as most fortunate. So this shows a few things. It shows the transcendental nature of spiritual life, which is ever increasing, is ever joyful. He is with Supreme Personality of Godhead Krishna. Still his joy, his happiness is multifolded as in association of Garga Muni. That's a wonderful thing. In Machita Madgata Pranam, Bodhayanta Parasparam Kathayanta, all these devotees, great devotees, when they discuss, they derive great pleasure and immense satisfaction in their heart. Now, it appears like by the mercy of Garga Muni, Nanda Maharaj's attachment for Krishna has multifolded. Because it says in the purport that he himself is most fortunate. And not only that, he was thinking of Krishna's safety from the hands of demons like Putana and Saktasura. Because Garga Muni mentioned that you take care of this boy very nicely. So that invoked him to meditate more on Krishna. And he's deriving transcendental bliss. So it is also, there are two things. One is action of association of spiritual master. If the spiritual master who delivers the sincere disciple by transcendental knowledge and offers the seed of bhakti, the devotion. And as it is said, the Brahmanda Brahmite, Kona Bhagyavan Jeev, Guru Krishna Prasadapai Bhakti Lata Bij. We have heard about it, and I'm personally, but I keep forgetting how fortunate I am that to come in association of the great devotees like all of you. Because if I was contemplating, what a devotee is losing at this time, in this situation. Still, even the lockdown, still we have an association. Still we can remember the Lord Krishna, and that's all. It's very simple. Chant and discuss about Krishna. By the mercy of spiritual master, we got this association. And by the guidance of the spiritual master, one sincere soul can realize the absolute truth completely. As mentioned, Adu Shraddha Tatva Sadhu Sangha, Tatva Bhajana Kriya, Tatva Anartha Nibriti Syat, Tatva Nishtha Tatprachi. So, Atha Saktis Tatva Bhavas. Sanatana Goswami mentioned as Lord Krishna, from Lord Krishna, actually learned from Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. He mentioned that Satam Prasangam Mama Virya Samvida Bhavanti Shrutkarana Rasayana Kathaha. That's from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 3, 25 chapter and text 25. In the association of pure devotees, Krishna Katha becomes very relishable. Hrit Karna. Hrit means Hrit Karna Rasayana. Hrit means heart. It is relishable. It is very pleasing to the ear. Karna means ear, and to the heart. Hrit means heart, and Karna means this oral reception. Both ways it's pleasing. Bhavanti Hrit Karna. Tad Joshanat. If one little tries little whatever he has heard, then Shraddha, Rati, Bhakti, Anukramasyati. From Shraddha, from platform of Shraddha, one can go to the platform of Bhakti, Suddha Bhakti, pure Bhakti, Anukramasyati. Gradually one will develop. So beginning is Shraddha. Now, when we are talking about, how Nanda Maharaj and Yashoda was so fortunate, where the Supreme Personality of Godhead in his complete form, Krishna, has appeared as their child. Drona and Dhara, it is not like accidentally they have got all this fortune. It is in the previous life, as Drona and Dhara, they offered severe austerities. When Lord Brahma asked them to have the progeny, and to have the progeny, they entered into a very severe austerity. And what is the desire? We want in a person, like Supreme Personality of Godhead as our child. It's interesting, a devotee can aspire like this. So in that sense also, when someone aspires to the Supreme Personality of Godhead as their own child, it shows that they are already advanced in transcendental knowledge, because they don't have to be taught that the Supreme Personality of Godhead exists. So with the permission of Lord Brahma, they performed sincere austerities, severe austerities for so long. Many times when I'm thinking how much patience they had. I personally, what do you want? Okay, as soon as my work over, I want to get back to Godhead. But all these personalities, just to have a parental relationship with the Supreme Lord, they had waited for millions of years, and performed austerities, and they're bestowed by Lord's reciprocation. And Lord Krishna appeared in this time as their child. Now, Lord Krishna appeared, he's the Supreme Person, to reciprocate with devotees. But Nanda Maharaj and Yashoda may not be aware of what it is. So again, I don't know if it is needed or not, but still, by the mercy of Garga Muni, who is revealing the glories of Lord Krishna to Nanda Maharaj. And this increased more happiness within the heart of Nanda Maharaj. So it's a favorable association. It's a favorable association. He's saying that your son Krishna appears as an incarnation in every millennium. In the past, he assumed 3 different colors, just briefly white, red, and yellow. And now he has appeared as in a blackish color. And who is that? Who is that person? He is the Purna Purushottama. Purna Purushottama. What is Purna Purushottama? He is the complete manifestation of the absolute truth. Complete manifestation, just like Lord Chaitanya's incarnation is, it is called is Karuna Avatar. His Karuna Avatar, and also he is called I forgot. The Lord Ramachandra is Maryada Purushottama, but Krishna is in some of everything, is the complete manifestation of the absolute truth. Is Purna Purushottam. He appears in his original form, and with he manifests all different races, all the races. So when Krishna appears, all the avatars also appears with him, described in Srimad Bhagavatam. 1.3.26 is the first canto itself. Avatara hi asankheya hare sattva nidhar dijaha yatha vidasina kulyaha sarasaha shivu sahasasaha. The avatars incessantly appears, like incessantly flowing water. No one can count how many waves there are in the flowing water. And similarly, there is no limitation of the avatars. And Krishna is the full representation of all avatars because he is the source of all avatars. Krishna is Amsi, and whereas the others are called Amsa and Amsi. Amsi, just like Avatar and Avatari. Krishna is Avatari, and all other manifestations are Avatara. So Krishna is Amsi, and all others are Amsa. Who is Krishna? Amsi means who is the soul. Amsa means in part. And Amsi means from whom all the Amsas comes, who is the source of all the Amsas, all the parts. So all living entities, including us, Amsas is living entities, Krishna, are the part and parcel of Krishna. So either the Jiva Tattva or Vishnu Tattvas, as Jiva Tattvas also said, Nitya Nityanam Chetnas Chetnanam Eka Bhunam Vidadati Kaman. We also part and parcel of Krishna. So Krishna is the full representation of all living entities. And when Krishna is present, all avatars also included in him. That's why we are hearing this chapter is entitled The Universal Form, which is manifested in Krishna's mouth. So that shows how the completeness of Krishna. Everything is within in his mouth is shown to Mother Yashoda. That Purna Purushottama appears as a child of Nanda and Yashoda, just to reciprocate this their desire. As Krishna's desire, and its devotees' desire. Whatever the devotees' desire, that is Krishna's desire. So for this reason, as Gargamuni is saying, for this reason, for this son of yours, the many forms and names according to his transcendental activity, qualities and activities. These are known to me, but people in general do not understand them. He's confidential, and it is known to the devotees, and in general people cannot understand them. To increase the transcendental bliss of the cowherd man in Gokula, this child will always act auspiciously for you, and by his grace only you will surpass all difficulties. At the same time, he had told, remember, there will be a lot of troubles for you. I don't know what to say about it, but I can say briefly that when Prabhupada was establishing, so much trouble, constant. It's like a single warrior. It's like a one warrior who established this Krishna consciousness by the mercy of the Lord. It's unbelievable. So Krishna has appeared, who is all auspiciousness, but it comes with a baggage of troubles. Then he said, by his grace only you will surpass all difficulties. So basically, I think we discussed in the past also, this fear, these troubles in our life, we can understand that it's all mercy of Krishna, so that our dependency on him increases. And when we increase our dependency, our transcendental pleasure increases more and more. So who is Krishna? Krishna himself is a manifestation of all auspiciousness. If anyone wants auspiciousness in our life, all we need is Krishna in our life. Demons who are, the Asuric mentality cannot harm the demigods, no matter what. This we discussed in the previous chapter when Parikshit Maharaj was curious. Oh, Putana is coming now. So much of trouble is going to come. Parikshit Maharaj was so much of in anxiety because he's a devotee of Lord Krishna. So what is going to happen? He said, Sukadeva Goswami said, don't worry, don't worry. Krishna is there, he will take care. Everything will be all auspicious. So no matter what, demons, cannot harm the demigods. It appears like they're always in trouble because that's in the material world. All there's a secret reason, there's a reason behind it, because Krishna wants the devotees to depend on him more and more. What is one of the limba bhakti is Abhasya Rakhibe Krishna Viswaso Pala. We don't aspire for anything, but we always have faith that the Lord Krishna will protect us. We have the staunch faith. When you have that staunch faith, that shows that we have surrendered, submitted to Krishna. So demons cannot harm demigods, who are always have Lord Krishna on their side. Why? Because demons love, devatas love Krishna. Similarly, any person or group attached to Krishna is extremely fortunate, because such persons are very much affectionate towards Krishna. They cannot be defeated by demons like the associates of Kamsa or any other way demons comes. Any other way, because the devotees has taken full shelter at the lotus feet of the Lord Krishna. Now we will discuss about, we said about, okay, by the mercy of spiritual master, one gets the love of Krishna. Now, what is the love which is, appears like Nanda Maharaj, Yashoda Maya, and cow, gopis and gopas? What austerities they have performed? They didn't have to go through this instruction of 16 rounds of chanting, following 4 regulatory principles, because they're aloof. When it's explained about bhakti, is Raganuga bhakti and Vaidhi bhakti. Raganuga bhakti is called spontaneous devotional service. When Krishna was child, it appears that, as Garga Muni said, that, oh, this child will go through so much of trouble, and you all. So what happened? Immediately there's an affection came in the heart of parental affection was there, but it becomes so deep in the heart of Nanda Maharaj. What say? Now I need to protect this child. And when you protect your child, actually you're always constantly meditating now, there's no danger. So Krishna becomes more an object of meditation, not only for Nanda Maharaj, all the cowherd boys. A child, a small child, he cannot even walk. So what happens is, he creates the attraction. He attracts the people in such a way, he develops a dependency on them. And that is also done by the Lord's internal potency of Yoga Maya. Through Yoga Maya, everyone is thinking, oh, baby Krishna, how will we need to protect him? So Krishna becomes a constant object of meditation within the Braja community, who doesn't need protection. So, but it's affection, it is a rasa. So, but when he grew up, here's the interesting thing. When he grew up, it appears like everyone is taking shelter of him. Constant shelter of him. This is a wonderful relationship. Samarada Krishna makes his devotees depend and remember him through his wonderful activities. So ultimately, Krishna is the one who actually controls, who reciprocates. He makes them. Now, Rupa Goswami explains that the spontaneous dealings of the residents of Vrindavan in relationship with Krishna are called Raganuga, which we cannot imitate. Raganuga. It will come by the process of, for us, sadhana bhakti. We will have a spontaneous relationship. I'll give a simple example. I have seen, it is so wonderful. Our mother Janava, who I was missing her last week and week before last, I was literally missing her actually. She's a simple lady. She was a simple lady. And when she was there, not many of us could uh, understand her glories. And I was thinking, how wonderful this person is, always encouraging and inspiring everyone and constantly thinking of Jagannath. She had to go through some of the troubles in her life at the last stage of life. I mean, I think none of us should go actually that difficult. But I still remember her departure's glories, how blissful her body looks like. She didn't look like she looked like some other person. No? So these people these devotees is spontaneous love. There's another devotee, I will just give you example. I hope I can name it, won't, hope we'll get inspiration from this. Another devotee I get. You all know Mother Veena Pani, right? So some of you may not know, Mother Veena Pani, who served in Philadelphia temple also, who gave up, from her young age, who has given up everything in the material world, relationships, completely surrendered to the Prabhupada's movement. And okay, some other comes here, she, by the arrangement, she gets married, marriage doesn't go through, she has no home. And then, by Krishna's arrangement, that she got a temple. But here is, I want to say, because I'm still in connection with her, I'm trying to, try my best to take care of her, but she doesn't need. She's always under the protection of the Lord. I can see it. What happens, some little money she gets. Some little money she gets, what she does, what money, very hardly, we cannot believe how much money we get. You all know how temples, as a temple, we give. From that also, she accumulates the money and she gives everything for the festivals. See, this last Janmashtami or some festival, she got a couple of $1,000, bought the very expensive saris and everything. What I understand is how much love these people have for Krishna. These simple ladies, how much love they have. So I feel that the spontaneous dealings of residents of Vrindavan in relationship with Krishna are, as it is mentioned, it's called Raganuga Bhakti. These devotees are Raganuga Bhakti. They have attained, though externally they appear like ordinary behavior. These beings, these Brajavasis, these beings don't have to learn anything about devotional service. They're already perfect in all regulatory principles and have achieved the spontaneous devotional loving service to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. For example, the cowherd boys who are playing with Krishna do not have to learn by austerities or penances or yogic practice how to play with him. It's natural coming from within their heart. they have a natural affection, that relationship. They have passed all tests of regulatory principles in their previous lives. So it's a cumulative effect. Previous life they have done it. Now they're relishing this in Krishna face to face. And as a result, they are now elevated to the position of direct association with Krishna. As his dear friends, their spontaneous attitude is called Raganuga Bhakti. So a few more minutes on Raganuga Bhakti. Srila Rupa Goswami has defined Raganuga Bhakti as spontaneous attraction for something while completely absorbed in thoughts of it. Prabhupada is created with an intense desire of love. Prabhupada has created such a society, environment where we don't realize that, we are constantly, those who are dedicated for the moment, they're constantly thinking of Krishna. It's a completely absorbed in thoughts at the festivals or non-festivals, regular running, you all are constantly absorbed. How wonderfully, very tactically he's giving us this Raganuga Bhakti. But we need to discharge this with patience. As His Holiness Bhakti Charisai Maharaj said, please don't leave. Because why don't leave? It has to be done with very great patience, and it is going to bring the great result. It is not a very difficult task. So devotional service executed with such feelings of spontaneous love is called Raganuga Bhakti. Devotional service under the heading of Raganuga can be further divided into two categories. One is, those people who render Raganuga Bhakti in two categories. One is called sensual attraction. The other is called relationship. So Narad Muni is explaining to Yudhishthir in 7th canto, 1st chapter, verse 30 of Srimad Bhagavatam, where he says, Narad Muni says, "My dear king, there are many devotees who first become attracted to the personality of Godhead for purposes of sense gratification. From being envious of him." So Narad Muni is, because he's the pure devotee of Lord Krishna, as the super soul understands, Narad Muni also has similar level of understanding of devotee's heart. He says that many people who become attracted to the Lord for the purposes of sense gratification at the beginning, from being envious of him also, or they can be out of fear also, or from desiring to associate affectionately with him. So that day also we discussed on the fear, how getting freedom from fear. One is, we do things out of fear. We do things out of expectations. We do things out of as a responsibility, and we do things out of love. So similarly, we can categorize this out of fear, out of which we can envy, and we can be out some expectation like lust desires, attracted by sensual attractions called some expectations. And finally, it comes that out of affectionately associated with him. So in this way, devotees can be attached to Lord Krishna. Ultimately, these attractions become freed from all material contamination, and gradually the worshippers develop spiritual love and achieves the ultimate goal of life desired by the pure devotees. However, he mentions that I have more, but what I will do is we'll just give a parental love. So when the ecstatic love develops into relationship of parenthood and becomes steadily established, the relationship is called Vatsalya Rasa. The exhibition of Vatsalya Rasa, standard of devotional service, can be found in the dealings of Krishna with his devotees, who represent themselves as superior personalities like father, mother, and teacher. So that's when there's a feeling of coming that I am superior, I need to protect this child. Now I need to protect. So that is called a Vatsalya Rasa, parental. So learned scholars have actually described this in many ways. So in this way, by the mercy of Garga Muni, the parental attachment for Krishna has further increased in the heart of Nanda Maharaj after his association. Sorry, my son is happily playing with them. That's why you're hearing all this. So I will end it here with open for question, some reflections, and if you'd like to share something.
Hare Krishna Prabhu, thank you so much. Very nice class. And when you're talking about coming to Krishna out of fear, it was reminding me of your class on Sunday and talking about fear, and how, and Dronacharya at that class brought up the point of the fear of God, right? That in the Christian tradition, there's this kind of, sorry, I'm getting into my office now, so hear all the background noise. In the Christian tradition, there is this concept of, the fear of God. And so I guess that my question is, from that place of if we come to God in a place of fear, can we elevate our position over time? And is it through coming to Bhakti Yoga that position, that place of fear, can elevate to something more loving? So I guess that's my question. Like, what is the process? If someone comes to the place of fear, like a Christian may be very fearful. How do they elevate beyond that?
I'm hearing a lot. Luckily, I didn't get into, maybe in my previous lives, I have experienced Christianity. I've been to churches, you all have a better experience. So that fear, all I can say, that fear which brings into the platform of love is a favorable fear. is not that fear which takes away you from God. So the fear which brings one close to Krishna, that is acceptable. But not like, oh, if you don't do, you'll be punished. So you always be feeling like there's no building the relationship is not there. You're always seeing that person as an enemy. So what happened at Kamsa? Kamsa was looking at the Lord as a punishment only. Kamsa's view is in Kamsa and Hiranyakashipu, they think this Krishna is going to kill her. He's always favorable to demigods. I'm seeing as a punishment only. So what happens? It culminates into envy. Ultimately, it will culminate. It's a long process. But the difference between in Christianity here is, if you remember that, I hope I'll take some time. The question was asked by Parikshit Maharaj, saying that, okay, King Vena did the sinful activity, okay, and Shishupal and Kamsa also did the sinful activity. Then how come King Vena did not get liberation, but Shishupal and Kamsa got liberation? The reason is that answer is given, irrespective of, even though they both didn't like the Supreme Lord, when Shishupal and Kamsa, they were directly associated with in their mind with Krishna. They were at least thinking of Krishna. That's why they got liberation. So, okay, but Rupa Goswami says it's not a favorable bhakti, but it will culminate into gradually into bhakti later. So that fear, which is not connected to Krishna at all, which is not bringing to Krishna at all, it is not going to produce a good favorable result. That's why people they may develop the hatredness to the system. They may glide down to the lowest pieces of life again. So that's why it has to be done with careful cultivation. Human life has to be cultivated very, very carefully, so that you, as a spiritual master, understands the condition of the disease. Just like Prabhupada. Look at the Prabhupada and look at other God brothers also. I'm not blaming other God brothers of Prabhupada, but everybody had the different level of empathy or compassion. So Prabhupada made himself in such a way, he came to the platform of understanding the consciousness of the people in Western world, and he gave appropriately, in such a way that whatever the state one is, one should go to the next stage of attachment. From fear, even if they have a fear, even if they don't have any attachment, they should have some faith, some attachment. But if you're talking about a fear, which many of you have gone through, if that fear does not bring, culminates into bhakti, so it doesn't make good to anyone actually. That's my understanding. It doesn't make good to anyone.
Interesting. Thank you. That was a good summarizing of a couple of different concepts of fear. I appreciate that. Thank you.
Hare Krishna is also Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Any other comments? Hare Krishna, you want to say something?
I just came. Everyone knows that I'm on the phone with my Guru Maharaj in the morning, so I come to hear the questions and the last part.
We were discussing about the spontaneous love, how the Brajavasis has spontaneous love for Krishna, and how they didn't just attain that, they attained from the previous austerities or previous regulatory principles they were performed, sadhana bhakti. And also we are discussing about 4 ways how serving the Lord, can one come to the Lord out of fear. And that's why Mother Anand Vrindavan she was sharing that it comes from a background where fear is coming. One thing is, I don't know what is the ultimate goal of Christianity. That I don't know. I think love of God, right, for them also.
I think it just depends. I mean, I think there's an aspect of fear of God, but I think love of God is, my experience, it's love of God certainly is the goal in Christianity. And it's, but it's not quite the same as bhakti, where it's, in my experience with Christianity, it was, love of God, but it was also obedience to God. asking God to, you pray to God for certain things. So there was kind of that petitioning. And so, that was kind of my experience with it anyway.
Because when I read from the Shastras, the Christianity is also recognized as a bona fide. However, unfortunately, a system may be pure, bona fide, but if you don't have a person living those principles, then that's why Krishna comes. Even it happens with Krishna consciousness also. When the parampara system breaks, you lose the whole the real mercy, actual mercy. That's why I come and establish to you. I think that's what has happened with Christianity also, because after Jesus Christ, the parampara system is broke. People don't have a real guru who lived an example and who could guide them. And even the practice, there's no transformation in the heart. Anyway, others can share more. Yes, yeah.
So Christianity is personal, and its goal, it's meant to be devotion to God. But Prabhupada said that there's a lifespan, of the religion, and I forget the tape. Prabhupada said, lifespan go up and lifespan go down. Christianity finished. So the time frame has passed where the potency isn't there because it's become so mixed with materialism, and so when that contamination becomes so strong, you can't get pure love of God simply because it's so mixed. It's meant to be devotion to God, but as you said, there's not that leader now to teach love of God. And really, what I find about Christianity for me was like preliminary love of God. There was the talk of Krishna, of God, and there was talk of the relationship God, the Son, and the Father, but the specific name was given to us. So when I've encountered Krishna consciousness, I was in shock because Lord Jesus spoke so much about his Father. And I thought, wait a minute, could this Krishna be the Father of Christ? And that made the alignment perfect, because I could see why Lord Jesus Christ, being so awesome himself, thought, oh no, you got to see my Father. You have to understand the greatness of my Father. So I think if you've come from Christianity, and again, the things are there, sincerity, desire, things like that, then the arrangement comes. Still, the arrangement has to be made by Guru and Krishna.
Yes. Thank you, Prabhu. In one sense, even I was thinking, Prabhupada is mentioning about Varnashram system, how it was. So basically, we don't see, even Indian subcontinents, we don't see the Varnashram because it's lost. So I think similar way, when I learned from my courses also that when you don't live those principles, you lose it. So parampara, as even Muhammadan also, everything is kind of lost. It's just external superficial practices are left over. But real mercy seems like is lost, because if a devotee if a person doesn't live on these principles, then you won't attain the results what that gives. And other I said that, yeah, you perfect in Christianity, then you further come to Krishna consciousness, you purify yourself and get love of God. It's ever increasing. It's ever increasing. Thank you, Prabhu. Anyone else has any comments? I know we still have some time, I think, today.
Hi, Krishna Kirtan, Prabhu.
Yes.
Very nice class. I wanted to ask you to elaborate on the topic of austerity that you were mentioning. You were mentioning about Drona and Dara. They performed austerity. And there's, we learn in the Bhagavad Gita, there's austerity in the mode of goodness, passion, and ignorance. And then we also learn about that Krishna is actually not conquered by our austerity, only by our devotion. So how are we to understand this austerity for a devotee? What is the difference between a devotee's austerity versus the austerity of maybe another type of transcendentalist or seeker.
Yeah, very nice. The reason I picked also to talk about that is your name is there. So anyway, so when it comes to as a practice of bhakti, at the beginning we cannot really practice a sentimental, saying that we cannot directly imitate like I am already in transcendental platform and I am rendering pure devotional service. It has to be very gradual. And Krishna mentioned in conclusion also of 18th chapter that yajna dana tapa. Yajna dana tapa, which is yajna means sacrifice, dana means charity, and austerities, no one should give up. Either in the mode of ignorance, lowest of the man, even if he's doing killing animals, giving charity, or it is those who are in the platform of devotional service. So yajna dana tapa cannot be rejected. However, the tapa is different for different people. We as a practitioner of bhakti, we have austerities. We have austerities of talk, speech, and we have austerities of eating, what we eat and what we not. We have austerities. And what is the purpose of the austerities? As Srimad Bhagavatam explains that Vasudeve Parayoga, Vasudeva Paramakha, Vasudeva Parantapaha, Vasudeva Param Jnanaha. So Vasudeva Parantapaha means for us, we know that the purpose of our austerity is to satisfy the Supreme Lord Krishna. In this way, devotional services has the austerities. We cannot say that we don't have austerities. We are performing austerity. All of us are performing austerities because it is pleasing the Lord. Through it, we show our sincerity and determination of loving Krishna. So when it comes to Drona and Dhara, different time has a different way of austerities. As Krite Dhyayata Vishnu. Now our austerities in the Satya Yuga is in meditation and a lot of austerity. You leave home, there's no home actually, live in the forest and all these things. So that time they were instructed to beget children. Because as a devotee of Lord Krishna, who is Brahma, his primary desire is to fulfill the will of Lord Krishna, to fill this universe with living entities. Living entities. So when Drona and Dhara was asked to do this, and they said that, okay, we will do it. We will fulfill your desire. We will take order, but we aspire to have Krishna as our child. So they are performing austerities to attain Krishna. That is favorable. That's what I think. So I don't know I heard that they perform the severe austerities, but those severe austerities are conducive for that time. Those severe austerities, they are able to do it. Like Prabhupada, he would sleep only 2 hours. Even this age, life and right, human being is so short-lived and very tired always. 2 hours, but we cannot do. So everyone has a certain level of performing austerities, but one can gradually go up. Somebody can chant 64 rounds, but somebody has difficulty chant even one mantra, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram. It's so difficult. You remember His Holiness Tamal Krishna Maharaj, he said that he was preaching in Fiji or other parts. He said, these people said, I cannot chant Hare Krishna. So Tamal Krishna Maharaj said, what you cannot chant? Hare Krishna. The other person replaced, Hare Krishna. What you cannot chant? Hare Krishna. So then Tamal Krishna Maharaj said, okay, you have done enough for the day. So basically he made him chant Hare Krishna a few times. So, and the other round, the other place, people can chant 64 rounds. So everyone is in different consciousness. Everyone is in different level of austerities. For us, primary austerities is given, and Bhaktivinoda Thakur says that, no, at the Ekadashi day, we should fast. Janmashtami day, we should fast. And these days brings us very favorable for our bhakti. These are the bhakti, what is the name is for? very favorable. One practices more austerities on that day, one can attain more favor of the Lord. That's how I understand. Hariyash Prabhu, others, you want to share something on that?
You're fine. No, what you're saying is fine.
Yeah, thank you. Dhanachapri, you agree? You want to say something more? Please, you feel free. You know something. You're just asking. You're asking for the benefit of others. I know that, and benefit of myself.
No, I'm asking for my greater understanding. Thank you. I'm satisfied with your answer.
Thank you.
Prabhu.
We have Jagannath Priya Mataji is also there. So Sobharade Mataji is our principal, and others. If I want to share something, yeah.
Hare Krishna. It was just nice to hear about Janava. I appreciate that, and what a wonderful soul she was. So that was
I was really missing, 2 weeks back, last week, 2 weeks back, literally I was missing, and I was thinking of you also. So it is, we come across so many great people in our life, but because our own anarthas, impurities, we don't recognize. No. I don't recognize actually. And I'm very grateful for everybody on this call, all the Philadelphia devotees, for allowing me to grow in my devotional service. I'm very, very grateful. Thank you so much.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. I also wanted to just add that when you started reading the purport, you said that second line that is what you wanted to focus on, and then I got stuck there.
Yeah. Thank you.
I stayed focused on that. Shravanam and Kirtanam, that is how we perfect ourselves. And but again, like Mother Jagannath Priya said, I think remembering we have to take notice. There is a lot of effort on all the, on the part of the congregation to on Vaishnava etiquette and how we should act towards each other. I think that is exactly what it is that we should notice these things that people do quietly in the background. Another person that I've always noticed is Gangamantri Prabhu. I mean, there cannot be another quieter devotee who comes quietly, insists on doing things in the back, and then walks away. And I think that will make us all better devotees when we start noticing. And I think we will become better devotees when we do a lot of Shravanam and Kirtanam. And so thank you very much. That was a wonderful class. Always very nice to hear from you. So we thank you for joining us and giving your association to us. Thank you.
I am very grateful. I'm nourishing my spiritual life with all of us. That's the whole fact, actually. And in this situation, arrange this situation that I can take advantage of it. And thank you for tolerating.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, I want to share something.
Yes, Mataji. How are you? And
I'm good. How are you?
I'm very happy that you regularly join. Very nice.
I like it.
Please share. Please share.
Once there was some ceremony in Radha Shobhe's house, and Mother Janvi was also there. And when we were coming back to home, and she found out that I was not chanting, and she said that in our association, you cannot get away with it. You have to chant. And I always remember her. That I'm glad you mentioned her name.
Yes. Thank you. These are the memories, and it allows us to grow in these positive moments. Yeah. And I'm glad you're doing that.
Thanks.
Thank you for sharing. Well, it's 8:50. Dhanachari Prabhu, any final words from you?
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. One thing I want to announce. Actually, there's two things. I'm not going to make this announcement every day because I'll just become redundant. A couple big things are coming up at ISKCON Philadelphia. On Tuesday, we celebrate the appearance day of Srimati Radharani. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna to everybody. Please bless him.
Hare Krishna Vasudev. So the appearance day of Srimati Radharani. We're going to be having two programs. The first is we're doing a morning program, Mangalartik. The devotees that want to come, we have limited space, so you'll need to RSVP with me. And it's for Mangalartik. It's not to come at 7 o'clock in the morning. It's not to come at 6 o'clock. It's to come for Mangalartik. After Mangalartik, we'll have Tulsi Puja. After Tulsi Puja, we're going to have a special Abhishek for Shri Radha, Chota Radhashar Bihari. The Brahmanas will be able to bathe the deities at that time. Will be Kirtan. Afterwards, we'll be doing Japa together. And then His Holiness Bhakti Purushottam Swami Maharaj will be joining us from Mayapur to speak on the glories of Srimati Radharani. That'll be available for everybody at home.
Jai. What time will be in the evening, right?
No, this is the morning program.
Oh, Maharaj will give class in the morning, huh? That's good.
Yeah, because he's in Mayapur, so 7:30 in Mayapur is 7:30 a.m. at the temple is, or Philadelphia is 5 o'clock in Mayapur. In the evening, it'll be like 3 o'clock in the morning in Mayapur, so it won't work out that way. But it's good. We want to strengthen our morning program. So devote, and then after that, we'll have greeting the deities. We'll show this also over YouTube, hopefully, but we wanted to make this available for the devotees, really make it a special morning program. So if you're interested, you'll see something come out in the newsletter as well about this, but I wanted to make sure the devotees, here on the Sangha knew about it. Again, we'll have to RSVP because we know that our space is limited. So if you're interested, please let me know. The other thing is, on September 1st is Bhadra Purnima. It's actually a special day. We've learned about it recently in the last couple of years by the promotion of the BBT, especially by His Grace Vaisheshika Prabhu. It actually states in the Srimad Bhagavatam that on this particular day, that if you place the Srimad Bhagavatam on a golden throne and you offer it to somebody, you will go back to Godhead. Your destination is secure. This is in the 12th canto of the Srimad Bhagavatam. And so in order to promote Srimad Bhagavatam, for our own benefit of giving Srimad Bhagavatam, help fulfill Srila Prabhupada's mission, as stated in the seven purposes, to propagate a consciousness as Krishna has taught in Bhagavad Gita and spoken in Srimad Bhagavatam, to distribute the periodicals, books, and literatures to promote Krishna consciousness. This is something that's really being promoted within our movement. Last year we did it, I think for the second time, but it became bigger last year. And this year we're hoping to make it even bigger. One extra special thing that'll be happening this year is on that same day, anybody who sponsors a Srimad Bhagavatam set, there'll be a yajna that is being performed in Namasharanya by some ISKCON priests. And those who sponsor Srimad Bhagavatams, their names will also be offered during that yajna. So the cost of the Srimad Bhagavatam is $360. No, excuse me, $260. So I'm hoping that you all have Srimad Bhagavatam sets. If you don't, now would be a great time to purchase one. And if you can think of somebody that you would like to give as a gift of Srimad Bhagavatam to, a devotee who doesn't have one, so this will also be a nice time to do this. Okay, if you have any questions about this, you can reach out to me, or if you know Dana Tarpata Prabhu, he's leading up this effort for Philadelphia. All right, that's all I have for right now.
पावनेभ्यो हरे कृष्ण। ग्रंथ श्रीमद् भागवतम की जय। श्री
Jai.
हरे कृष्ण।
Hare Krishna.